Hi friends, let's talk turkey. So this is game part 1 of my turkey game. This is the start of my gravy. So I've got a pot of water. It's got 2 big carrots chopped up. It's got 1 big onion. It's a little bit hot, but not peeled. I don't know if you can see that, but not peeled, just cut in half. And then I have the dregs of the celery. I've got the inner middle pieces. I've got the top that's not nice. I've got the bottoms with the root part cut off, and all of this along with the neck are going in my pot and are just gonna stew for a good amount of time. I also need to get some salt and pepper. So this is the first part of my Thanksgiving game, because it is kind of like the Super Bowl of cooking, right? So I'm just gonna give you little bits and parts. So I've got salt, pepper, celery, carrots, onions, you know, the Holy Trinity going in a pot. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil, and then I'm gonna bring it down and just let it simmer. And then I'm gonna take the lid off and reduce it so that I have, so that I've got a really good base. And then I'll add the drippings from the turkey to this stock, and that's gonna up my gravy game. So that's what I'm doing with that. I'm gonna move this to this back burner, but I wanted you to see what was going on there. And then let's talk turkey. So I have a little 10-pound organic grass-fed yummy turkey, and I thawed it out in the fridge, and now I have got a rub on it. And all the rub is you can't be surprised, herb de Provence, right? The beautiful, amazing herbs that come from the south of France, and then garlic powder or garlic salt, 2 tablespoons, and then salt and pepper. And I dried my turkey off once I got it out of the bag and once I got the innards out of the cavity. And now I'm gonna let it sit in the fridge for 24 hours. And this is gonna dry out the skin so that when I put the butter underneath the skin and when I start to bake it, the skin is gonna be really crunchy and just yummy, yummy, yummy. This is probably the only day of the year that I eat skin, but it is so worth it. So this is gonna make a great, moist, yummy, flavorful turkey. So we're gonna let it sit out, not outside, but we'll let it sit in the fridge uncovered, which seems wild in my head, but it's okay. And then tomorrow I will do a little more prep, and I'll let you see that, and then we'll bake this baby. Hope that your prep is going well. I'm thankful for you. Hi friends. So this is part 2 of Thanksgiving, and for my family, this is a must. And my cousin Sean and I used to love this, and we would really kind of position ourselves next to the broccoli casserole. And so this is a part of our family tradition. So I'm making it. I never knew what was in it. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I've never made it for y'all. I never knew what was in it. And then one year, my Aunt Carol broke her leg. I think it was her leg. And all of a sudden, we had to make Thanksgiving, or parts of it. And so up until then, we kind of let our moms do it. And then that one year, it was time for all of us to chip in. So I learned how to make it, and then, well, it's a little crazy and scary. It's kind of like you don't want to make this, you don't want to learn how the sausage is made, right? So in this bowl, I've got 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, probably my least favorite condiment. 2 eggs, my own mushroom soup, roux, and mushrooms. I'm putting in, how much am I putting in? Let me look at the actual recipe. I'm putting in 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt. And then I've got a cup of shredded sharp cheddar. I'm gonna get all of that in. Salt and pepper. And then, because I really like it to be broccoli, I'm doing 2 16-ounce bags of broccoli pieces. So there's that. So I'm gonna mix all of this together, and I'm gonna add the not caramelized, but seriously. I've got maybe I better do this with 2 pot holders. Pot holders had run away. So I've got 1 medium onion that I've just sauteed, and here we are. It's gonna go in as well, and we'll call that good. So 1 medium onion sauteed, and that's not gonna hurt, so that's good. I love my cast iron pan, but it is so hot. Turning off the heat, so there's that. So mayonnaise, you could use a mushroom soup can if you wanted to, but you don't have to. It's really easy to make your own. I'll put that in the recipe as well. I've kind of just updated this recipe a little bit over the years, but I think Sean would still fight me for it. So it's all mixed together. It's that simple. It's just those basic kind of ingredients. And I'm putting it in my Louisville stoneware. And now it is actually Wednesday of Thanksgiving week, and I am prepping. So theoretically, the only thing I have to do on Thursday is bake some not even bake, do chocolate mousse little baby pies, because I bought pumpkin pie because I'm worth it. And I've got the rolls, so that's all good. I just gotta finish the rolls off. I've got a little extra sauce here in the pan. In the bowl, I don't wanna lose that. Sorry to have the bowls back to you. So you can see it fits in the dish really well. This is one of the ones my mother-in-law gave to me over the years. So here it is. Now I'm gonna cover this and put it in the fridge and just let all the flavors kind of meld together. Then what I will do is tomorrow I will crunch some Ritz crackers or butter crackers and 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'll put that on top, and that'll be the crunchy topping. And I'll take a picture of it. But broccoli casserole, check. What are your favorite sides? Let me know. Hi friends. What do you prefer, stuffing or dressing? What's your call on that? This is my Nana's famous stuffing. And if you happen to be in a Facebook chat with my sister and I last week, you will have heard us both say that if we go somewhere and they don't have Nana's stuffing, we'll make it later on when we get home later that next week, because we miss it. So I've got probably a cup, maybe a cup and a half of celery chopped. I should have chopped it finer. Peyton's celery is not Peyton's favorite vegetable, but he doesn't mind it in this because it basically cooks down. So I've got one medium-sized onion chopped and diced. I've got a cup and a half of celery. And now I'm putting in a pound of lean hamburger meat. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, just kind of talking it through with Peyton. I know a lot of people put sausage in theirs, and I was trying to think about strategically why my grandmother might have moved out from oyster or from sausage. And I think, and I don't know if this is true, I'd have to check with my cousins on my mom's side, but I'm wondering if it wasn't that other parts of my family or my Nana's family did use sausage or used oysters, but because she couldn't get what she wanted at the commissary when we were kids, when we shopped at the Air Force Base, that maybe she went to ground beef because that's what was cheaper and she could spice it up. I could absolutely imagine Nana pinching a penny and compromising and then, you know, being innovative and really good with a dime or a penny, as it were. So I'm just gonna let this kind of cook down till the meat is completely cooked. And then one of the things I make stock as I go through the year, and usually a couple of months before Thanksgiving is coming, I'm gonna have a turkey breast with bone in it, and then I'm gonna take that bone and I'm gonna make broth. One of the things when I do make broth is I freeze it so it's flat in a Ziploc. It's easier to stack that way in my freezers. Along with that, if you don't get lean, I'll stop that train of thought and come back to it. If you don't get lean beef, you're gonna need to drain the fat, because this is a really moist dressing or stuffing. And we make it, Peyton's family does stuffing balls, which totally helps with the moisture because it gives you a crunch on the outside, but still has the moisture on the inside. And all of that is welcome and open to gravy, right? So what I was gonna say about stock. So once you get some broth frozen in your freezer, I mean, you can go to the dollar store and get really good organic, low sodium broth. But if you want to make your own, and I always have some in the freezer, and then I always have a little turkey as I'm getting closer to Thanksgiving. And the bird that I'm cooking with this Thanksgiving, I've taken out the neck, and you saw me do all of that to make my dressing. So if I didn't have turkey stock, I could use that, but I do, so I've got that. Now, what I've done is I've got 4 cups because I've got 2 bags, and, oh, it was warm. It's not warm now. I'm gonna go stick it in the microwave because you want your broth to be the same temperature as everything else that's going on in your stuffing. If you don't, if you actually put cold broth into the bread, in with the hot mixture, it puts the brakes on the flavor. And so you don't want to do that. So instead, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the broth is warm. So that's true if I'm using broth in my mashed potatoes. I'm going to make sure that it's warm. I make sure that my butter is warm. I make sure that my milk is warm. That's when I do the potatoes. Peyton is generally our potato man in our house, so I don't know if he does that with warm butter and warm broth, or warm milk or cream. I do, but that's me. So I've got 1 bag of herb stuffing, and there's just, you know, a bunch of squares. And then I also have a bag of cornbread. So I'm going to mix those two together, and this is more kind of crumbles, you can see. I could not find the cornbread stuffing mix for a long time, and so I bought a cornbread. I was going to make mine, but then I don't have any cornmeal in the house, so I didn't have it. But see, I'm just going to mix it up, and then I'm going to add this hot mixture, and I'm slowly going to mix in the broth. And I'm going to look for a good consistency of moisture to bread ratio. And so I'm going to say that it's 4 cups, but it really could be 3.5. It really depends on how crusty your breadcrumbs are. But I'm going to use this guy to kind of manage the hamburger, because it is done. So, and this is warm, so that's good. A little bit warmer than warm. Okay, let's turn this baby off. Can you see me through all the smoke? No need to call the fire department. Let's put this over here so you can see it as it's kind of getting together. I'm going to take my spoon and my measuring cup and start transferring this over. It's all done. It's dry because I had the lean beef. Now you could easily do this without the beef, but this is how my Nana did it. This is how I like it. This, you know, how I like it. I like it like this. Yep. So you got that going for us. Okay. Basically in. Great. Put that on the leaf. This guy's slowing down his cook, which is excellent. I've got 1 more scoop to get in there. It smells so yummy. I mean, I'm talking really simple here, right? Celery, onion, hamburger, stuffing mix. So I'm going to give that a good stir, and then here comes the broth. So the first time I'm just going to do about a cup, okay? And then give that a stir. And because I'm doing this on Wednesday, I'm going to cover it and leave it in one big mass. It's ready for another cup. Excellent. And then tomorrow, Peyton and I will roll them into balls. And this is going to make a lot. So I probably will do one kind of bread pan full, and I'll bake it and I'll freeze it, and then I'll bring it back out later on when I bake a chicken, or when we're just feeling like we want a little something. Or actually this would last and be good in the freezer until Christmas, so I could just half the recipe and do it that way. But then I wouldn't do stuffing balls with it. I would just rewarm it as a casserole, basically. Okay, that's looking really good. I think there's 2 cups left. I'm gonna do 1 more cup, and then I am gonna let that just sit overnight, get friendly. When I bring my bird out, oops, I'm throwing it around. when I bring my bird out to start to rest, that's when I'm gonna put in my broccoli casserole. That's when my stuffing is gonna go in. And then later, that's when my rolls are gonna go in. And I rest my bird for almost an hour, if not a little bit more than that. I've got a small one, I only have a 10-pound bird, so I only really need an hour of resting. While that's resting, both of these are gonna cook, or the broccoli casserole and the stuffing are gonna cook. That's how I manage my kitchen. And doing these parts ahead means that I don't have to be in the kitchen all day tomorrow. I can watch the parade, I can, watch the dogs, I can watch the Philly parade. There are lots of options. I can decorate for Christmas if I want to. So that's what it looks like. It's really yummy. Let me get a spoon and take a bite. But there's no egg, there's nothing. Yep. Actually, the bread it's still crunchy. I'm gonna put another half cup in just because it's not quite soft enough for me yet. Okay. I think I'm just gonna let it sit and do its business. Get it together, work its plan. Then we'll stuffing ball it tomorrow. I'll let you see what those look like. Hope that your Thanksgiving is coming together and that it's not too stressful, but that there's lots of time to savor the sweet spots, the savory spots, and the time that you have to connect with your loved ones. If it's on Zoom, if it's on the phone, if it's through a card, if it's in person. Thankful for you. Hi friends, happy Thanksgiving. So this is part 2 of the bird. So the bird's been sitting in the fridge uncovered for the last couple of days. I have pushed butter into the skin and now I'm going to brush the skin. It's got the herb de Provence, it's got the garlic butter, or the garlic salt and salt and pepper on it. But now I'm gonna just sop it up with some melted butter. And this is going to make our bird really, really moist. I've got an onion and some carrots on the bottom. I've got the wing tucked in underneath the body because if not, then the wing is gonna cook faster than everybody else. I'm gonna make sure that the thigh and the legs are tucked in as well. So that's good. I've got celery underneath, an onion underneath, and carrots underneath. I've got celery, onion, and carrots inside the cavity as well. I'm bringing the bird up to room temperature now. And then I am going to bake this baby. So it's coming up to room temperature now. That's what it's doing. It's gonna sit out for about an hour. And then I'm gonna put it in the oven at 350, uncovered, for probably close to 3 hours because I'm looking for a temperature of 180 at the thigh and I'm looking for 170 in the breast. It's gonna take about 3 hours to get there. And then once it's there, I'll check it and baste it as we go. And then I will also, oh my gosh, this smells so good. I will also then tent it with aluminum foil if I need to. The other things that have happened this morning is I made chocolate pudding for chocolate pie. I've got muffin tins out for the stuffing balls, and I'll show you how to do that. I've got mushrooms all chopped up because that'll go with pearl onions and snap peas, but I also have snap peas on the crudité plate and some different kinds of meat, A little shout out to our nut tree growing up, where you make your own little sandwiches. Happy Thanksgiving has pimento cheese in it. That's a shout out to my husband's upbringing. Some different veg, and then I've got some little rolls. So for lunch today, while everything else is happening and before we family Zoom, we'll have little sandwiches, and then we're gonna eat about 4 or 5. I've got my sugar bowl, my antique sugar bowl that I'll actually use to serve cranberry sauce in. And then I have my creamer from the same set that I'll use for gravy. So those are kind of how I manage those things on my regular table. I think all the prep is done. Peyton is my potato man, as I've said before. So he'll get the sweet potatoes going, and he'll have the mashed potatoes going. So I'm not gonna film those today because that's his business. And that's what's going on here. Hope that you had a feast and yummy food, and were able to feast on good things and fast from the things that are hard. Tons of love to you from New Jersey. I'll let you see the bird when it's done, if it looks good. Well, I'll let you see it either way because, well, we're friends, right? Hi, friends. So it is Thanksgiving, and it is time. You can see I've taken the stuffing that I made yesterday, and I have made it into stuffing balls, or you could make them into stuffing muffins. Your stuffing, your choice. So that's one set. And then I've also gotten the second part of the broccoli casserole ready. So I've got breadcrumbs, and really what it is cracker crumbs. And I took all the dregs of the cracker that we had in the pantry, and I crunched them all together. And I had one more little baby sleeve of like Ritz, and I crumbled those, and then I've laid them on top of the broccoli casserole, and then I took 2 tablespoons of butter, melted it, and then I've drizzled that on top. This is not a Weight Watchers dish. It is yummy, but don't make it all the time. Make it once in a while. I make it for Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas, and it's very yummy. And then we'll take a walk in the neighborhood. Okay, that's what I've got going. I also have my broth, my turkey broth for my gravy on the stove and warming up as well. My turkey is resting, and now the oven is empty, and I'm ready to put the sides in for their little, you know, cooking party. So, okay, that's what's happening here. Gobble, gobble. Okay, so the bird is done, and the stuffing balls are yummy, and the broccoli casserole is gorgeous. So Peyton has made a huge thing of mashed potatoes, and they are yummy. I have tasted them, quality control. In this pot, we have onions, pearl onions, snap peas, and mushrooms. This is a favorite blend of ours. And I'm about to do the gravy, but I've already done a gravy thing, so I'm not gonna do a gravy thing today. So happy Thanksgiving, tons of love from New Jersey, and we'll see you soon.